I apologize for the delay. I have your colors here, and I want to point out a couple of things. The first thing is that some of the colors look very different in the cup that I have for you. So I have these little cups of glaze that have the color name on them, and that's helpful because the second thing I want to point out is that sometimes the colors look very similar in the cup. So this is purple, and this is pink. And as you can see in the cup, they look very similar. When they come out of the kiln, they end up looking very different. The pink still looks similar to where it started, but the purple changes color completely. And some of this is just due to the heat and the pigments that they use in the kiln after they've been fired. So I want you to know that I didn't give you the wrong colors. If you ordered a purple and you get it and it looks like this and it looks like it's pink, it's really not. It's written on the side purple, so it is purple. So we are going to go ahead and glaze our necklaces. And again, I apologize for the timing on this. I sort of bit off more than I can chew. When we came back, I thought, you know what, we've had a tough year. I'm going to spend the rest of my budget on clay, and everyone's going to do clay this year because it's everyone's favorite thing, and it's going to be awesome. And I just really got far behind with the kiln time. So again, I apologize for our delay, and here we are. So at least we get to do it. We're going to have them fired, and you'll get them back. So we have our necklace pieces here. We have a couple of rules when we're glazing. The first one is that we don't want to get any glaze on the back. I have to glaze these flat on the shelves, and so when we glaze these, what we do is we paint this glaze on them, and then I put them in the kiln, and the kiln heats up to almost 2,000 degrees, and the little silicates in there, this is basically like clay and silicates and pigment, and as it heats up, it turns into this glassy finish, and so they're really beautiful when they're done. Here's an emoji that we did with 4th grade. So you can see how nice they turn out. They've got the shiny glassy finish, and they're really pretty. But if there's any on the back, it's going to melt into that glassy finish, and it's going to attach itself to the shelves in the kiln, and sometimes I have to actually chip them out. So we're going to work really hard to make sure the backs on these are clean, and it just takes wiping it off with a sponge, or if you want, you can just put the glaze on the top. That's probably the easiest bet. So I chose 2 colors. I chose red. Again, the red doesn't look anything like red in the cup because it actually comes out this red color here. So that looks very different as well. I chose red and pink, so I'm going to go ahead and do my pink heart. Now when we're glazing, we're just going to paint it on with a clean dry brush, and we need to paint it 3 times because we want to get that nice thick coverage so that the color is bright and so that we don't see the brush strokes. Now the clay has lots of little holes. It's called porous. And so it dries very quickly. So I'm going to do 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and do 3. If you make any mistakes, this is the coolest part. This stage right here, and your necklaces all look the same. This stage right here is called bisque wear. I have already cooked your clay once in the kiln, so it has taken out all of the moisture. So if you make a mistake, say I painted my heart pink like I just did, and I decided, you know what, I want my heart to be blue. You can run this under the sink and wash it off completely with a paper towel or a little sponge. Dry it with another paper towel and restart. It's not going to dissolve away because it's no longer clay. It's now what we call bisque wear. Okay, it's hard. And it's still breakable, but it's a lot harder. Now I'm going to go in with my second color, and I'm going to start to add my next group, or my next layer of colors. So I'm just going to do the top for this. I'm not going to really get into the sides because I don't want to have to deal with cleaning up the sides or the bottom. And I like kind of that rough edge against the top. or versus the shiny top. I think it ends up looking kind of cool. And you can see how quickly this dries. So anywhere that it's light pink, that's where it's already dry. I'm going to get into these grooves here. We made these textures with my shoe. Okay, so right up here, this is already dry. Right here, this is dry, this is dry. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in a second coat. I'm just going to paint right over this one more time. If you have words or carvings or anything, and it looks like they're disappearing, don't worry, because like my tiles here, that glaze sinks right into them and your words and lettering should still show up. Okay, I'm trying to go carefully around my lettering, or my little heart here. Now, because this is a three-dimensional object, I'm not going to be really looking at it a whole lot from the bottom. We're also going to be looking at it from the top. So when I do another coat, I'm going to turn my object around to see if there's any blind spots. So I'm also going to glaze it from the top, and I can see right here there's a blind spot that I missed a whole chunk of color. So it's already dry here. This is what I mean, glaze dries so fast. Now I'm going to go in and do another layer of the red. So this is my third layer. Okay, so rule number 1, no glaze on the back. Rule number 2, 3 coats of each color so that we have nice bright colors that pop right off our jewelry. Now rule number 3 is that hole where we put in for our necklace is that we have to clean that out. So I'm just going to use a little toothpick. You could roll up a tiny piece of paper, anything you need to do. We just need to make sure that it's clean again so that we can put our necklace right through it. Let this dry. It should take about 5 minutes, and then bring it back up to me and I will put it in the kiln one more time, and the next time you see it, it will look beautiful. It will look shiny. It will look, I'm trying to see if I have a sample here. I do. It will look shiny. They will look polished. They will look ready to go. So I can't wait to see what choices you make, and if you